during the draft, there was a lot of speculation pre-draft about, where's the Magic go? We're talking about Kuminga at 5. Scottie Barnes wasn't a big fan favorite. It was more so Kuminga. Then at 8, let's go get a buck night. On draft day, when you saw that Suggs was there at 5, did everybody want y'all to draft Jalen Suggs, or were there some fans that said, no, we want Kuminga still?
Well, I'll plug our little video. So we did like a draft day vlog that's up on our YouTube channel. And we were recording in the arena when the Scottie Barnes pick came through, because even, they're talking on the ESPN broadcast, and they've got Woj sitting, 5 feet away from them. And they're talking about how, the pick is expected to be Jalen Suggs. And at that point, I'm not on my phone. I don't want to see all the spoilers and everything like that. But we're just thinking like, here go the Raptors. They're going to take Suggs, and we'll draft, Barnes or, Kuminga, whoever the front office really prefers. And then the Raptors take Scottie Barnes so Luke and I were both in the building game 3, 2019, when the Magic played the Raptors, the first playoff game in that building in, Luke, what was it, 7 years? And being there for the draft party when Scottie Barnes' name was announced, that building was every bit as loud as that game 3 playoff game in 2019. Because at that moment, everybody knew that we were getting Suggs. There was a Suggs chant right after that Barnes pick. And we were just really terrified that the Magic weren't going to take Suggs and they were going to try to get cute with the pick. But no, the fan base is very, very, very excited.
So I wouldn't say I'm an Orlando hater, but I'm not an Orlando fan. I'm kind of just like in the middle of it all, just like, Orlando's, it's a cool team, nice colors. They're in Orlando, Disney World, all that good stuff.
It's bad when you have to reach out for our colors.
Good color scheme.
I was a little confused. Run me through, what do you think of the 8th pick with Wagner? Because I watched Michigan a lot. I'm kind of a college junkie. I watched Michigan throughout the year. Talk to me about that. Why'd you go Wagner at 8 instead of Buck Knight?
Luke, do you want to take it?
Yeah. So I think that the thing really is with the draft was the Magic were incredibly set on, we're gonna, with the 5th pick, we're gonna draft Kuminga, we're gonna draft Scottie Barnes, we're gonna get a forward essentially, right? So everybody then in turn was like, let's go ahead and prepare ourselves for that. And then the 8th pick will be like a Moses Moody, a guard that will be able to, help the franchise there. And so I think, you go with, the 5th pick obviously ends up being Suggs, and you're like, oh, but in the moment, you don't have time to process the fact that means you're not taking a guard with the 8th pick. It didn't seem like that. Why would you, right? So, I'm not a huge fan of the Wagner pick. It's still to be seen, obviously, if that was the right pick to make. And I don't really want to judge it, in a fair light until the season is, underway and we're at least halfway through and I could see kind of what we're dealing with. But I can't fault Orlando for taking a forward necessarily. I was hoping 8 was going to be Moses Moody, in all transparency. I wasn't even looking at Book Knight. I saw the draft combine. I saw the videos of his stroke. It looked so much better than it did in college. It looked like his percentage is going to go, up from his 3-point percentage that it was in college, whatnot. But I just couldn't get, I wasn't really on board with him. I wanted Moody really badly. I wanted Moody. I was willing to stretch up to 5 for Moody if I had to, because the 8th and 5th pick, there's not many, guys between it. There's not much margin there. So if you really like a guy, pick him at 5. I think the Magic really could have benefited from a Moody at 5, but obviously when Suggs falls, that's what you had to do. As far as Wagner goes, man, it kind of stinks, but the Magic were in such a pigeonhole that you had to pick a forward with it. And that's just kind of what happened. And apparently there was rumors that the Magic or some team had promised Wagner, if you're there, we're taking you. And we thought for sure that wasn't the case with the Magic.
I don't think nobody promised.
I think that was Sacramento.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that was Sacramento.
Wagner?
Well, if I can jump in here, I'm a little bit more optimistic on the Wagner pick than Luke is, but I'm right there. We've been thinking Barnes or Kuminga at 5 the whole time. We didn't think Suggs would be there. So you're thinking we get a forward at 5, then we'll take a guard at 8, whether that be Moody or Book Knight or whoever the case is.
Who would you have took?
What's that?
Who would you took at 8? If you took Kuminga or whatever at 5, the wing, who would you took?
I think I was leaning towards Moody. just with Book Night. There were just concerns about, the shot making. Yes, he's, arguably going to be like a 3-level guy, but the percentages were a little bit worrisome, at UConn. But you look at Moses Moody. Moses Moody was one of the best shooters, in pick and roll situations, in NCAA last year. So we had basically our draft expert, Eric Fawcett, came on the podcast the week before the draft and just really sold Moses Moody on us. Like this is a kid that just lives, eats, breathes all the advanced analytics and just kind of the way that he projects as a ball handler, again, in pick and roll situations, his ability, to defend multiple positions, obviously is a great shooter. So I was looking at that as like a day one contributor. Book Night is probably like the higher upside pick, but we were looking at Moses Moody as a guy that could come in and contribute from day one. But again, we're in the arena real time. Suggs is the pick. My mind is just completely blown. I can't really process any information at that point. So you see in our video, again, when the Wagner pick is made, we're all kind of like, oh, wow. Like we're just, really shocked. But everything that the front office has said since then, the thing about the Orlando Magic front office is that we do not leak anything. Anytime you hear Orlando Magic in rumors, I can almost guarantee you it is almost always from another team, another executive, or from someone's agent trying to drive whatever narrative they're trying to drive home. We heard that the Magic worked out Corey Kispert, Moses Moody, Scottie Barnes. There was, post-workout media availability where we interviewed those guys. Mo Wagner did work out for the Magic. The Magic never actually leaked that. He confirmed that in an interview after the draft. And then Jake Fisher from Bleacher Report, he did not report, but speculate that there was a promise, from Wagner between Orlando and Sacramento. And he alluded to the fact that it wasn't Sacramento. So knowing what we know now, and then John Hammond, our general manager, was on the radio the day after the draft and said, Jalen Suggs kind of fell into our lap. We had no idea what Toronto was doing until they made that pick. But they said Franz Wagner was always going to be the pick at 8, no matter what, no matter who he took at 5, no matter who was there at 8. Franz Wagner was going to be the pick. So that tells me that, one, he absolutely destroyed the draft, workout that they had with him, that they kept private for whatever reason. And they promised him, that we'll take you at 8 if you're not there. And the reason that teams do that is so that you don't work out for teams that are slated below you so that they can try to trade up and take a guy. So he really, really impressed the Magic. He's had a little bit of a shaky start to summer league. He's starting to play a little bit better the last couple of games. But when you just look at kind of how tight the front office kept that secret, and they're willing to take him at 8 and say, we're going to take him no matter what. To me, that says a lot about whatever happened in that workout and, kind of their analysis of Franz Wagner.
And for me, I think that was absolutely right. The Magic were looking at forward, then guard. So you had to flip-flop those two scenarios. So now you're looking at guard and forward. When the pick happened, I was a bit confused because I was like, okay, Jalen Suggs is best available, but the Magic have a lot of guards. But then thinking about it again, I'm like, they have a lot of guards, but do they have the guard? RJ Hampton, is he the guard? Is Cole Anthony going to be the guy? I'm not sold on either. I think RJ Hampton has more potential, though. Markelle Fultz, is he going to be the guy? We want him to be that, but he has not proven that yet. Jalen Suggs can be that guy and can run the offense for years to come, which is why I think it was a great pick. As for the 8th pick, you look at the forwards on the board at the time. Zaire Williams, I think that would have been a reach. Chris Duarte, Moses Moody could have been the pick, but he's a shooting guard, and I love Moody, by the way. I think he has zero bust potential. I think Moody's going to be really good. Corey Kispert, Trey Murphy. A lot of those guys are too high for number 8. Maybe you could have went with Jalen Johnson and gotten an Aaron Gordon clone. But realistically, Franz Wagner was the most NBA-ready player at that spot. And I'm just going to say it. I don't think he has star potential at all. I think he's a role player, and that's what he is. And that's fine. I think he can be a serviceable player for years to come. He's a versatile defender. He can stretch the floor. But in terms of like a star, I don't really see it. But he's a winner. And I think Orlando in the draft, they landed 2 winners in Jalen Suggs and in Franz Wagner.
Yeah. And that's definitely the thing, right? Like you said, and like I'm going to say now as well, is like the 5th pick was the pick, right? I mean, no other team has that two top 10 picks like that to take those swings. Jalen Suggs quite literally falls into your lap. And then from there on out, I wish I could have told myself in the moment, everything after that is just the cherry on top, right? I mean, no matter what you do at that point, it's like we had 2 top 10 picks. We don't need a guy that's going to be we don't need to draft another guy who's got a high ceiling. More so get a guy who's more NBA ready now. I mean, you look at it with Wagner and with Suggs. Suggs was the right pick. That's the guy that, has both a high floor, I think, and a high ceiling. And you really just don't know what he's going to turn out to be because there's so many options that, so many results that could happen. With Wagner, man, I think that, you hope he's just serviceable and that's it. But like you said, I don't want to reach for Zaire in that situation. A lot of Magic fans were high on Zaire. I was saying, no, thank you. So, I wasn't going to see, that happening at all. So Wagner is what he is and is what he's going to become. But a lot of people are hitting the panic button with the summer league already with him. And I don't think that's fair to him. But yeah, I like you, Joel. I wasn't super high on the Wagner pick at the time.
I want to know your guys' thoughts on how great Jalen Suggs has been so far in the summer league. we was talking about it on the show today, and it was that, Jalen Suggs, to me, he might have been held back at Gonzaga because what he's doing in Orlando, the put-back dunks, getting to the rim, getting to his spot, shooting. And Gonzaga, there was so many players he wasn't allowed to do that. If he would have went to another program, he would have been a top 3, maybe top 2 lock, averaging 25 and 5. He was that good because right now in Summer League, he's dominating.
Luke, floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah. So I might be stealing something Jonathan was going to say, but we said it on the show last night. Jonathan said it on the show last night, and I think it's very true. Jalen Suggs, the Magic fans for years have wanted to know that in crunch time, if we need a bucket, there's a great chance we're going to get a bucket. Jalen Suggs is going to get you a bucket. And I'm someone who also was just kind of weary of on Jalen Suggs as a player. I wasn't really convinced. We talk about 2-3 summer leagues not being enough evidence, but I don't know, man. He's leading the team. He's got Cole Anthony on the roster right now. He's got RJ Hampton, guys that already have a year experience, and he looks better than them. And those guys aren't any slouches either. That's not a slight at them. That's just praise to Jalen Suggs. He has looked so good throughout these games, man. Getting a bucket at will is what it seems like. Shooting, at least going into tonight, shooting 6 for 12 from 3, shooting 50%, which is great. Obviously not a huge sample size, but for a guy that shot 33% from 3 at Gonzaga, and that was my biggest concern with him was shooting. He's wiped all my worry away when it comes to his 3-point shooting. He's confident. He's got the tools. He's a winner, and he's a leader. So I think I'm now completely sold on Jalen Suggs and look forward to kind of what he becomes.
Hey, 2 games and you're sold?
I'm sold. Dude, you look at those games, man, like you just have to watch them.
Yeah.
There's players that Cole Anthony and RJ Hampton are deferring to Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
He's playing summer league. He hasn't even stepped on a real NBA court yet. And he's already making these strides. And I was on record 2 months ago saying I take Scottie Barnes over Jalen Suggs. That's how low I was on Jalen Suggs. Now I am glad that Scottie Barnes went 4th because it made me look smarter. At the time, Scottie was like mocked at like 7 or 8. So yeah, I think that I am. There's no lack of better term there. I'm sold on Jalen Suggs.
Yeah, I think when you look at Gonzaga, like you guys mentioned, he's behind, Drew Timma 19 points per game, Corey Kispert 18.6 points per game. Jalen sitting there at 14 points a game, shot 50% from the floor at Gonzaga, just 33% from the 3-point line, but he didn't have to be the guy, the scorer for Gonzaga. He just had to defend at a high level. He had to facilitate, which he did there. We've seen a lot of the highlight passes, everybody knows. But when it was time for a bucket, game in, game out for Gonzaga, those close games, they went to Jalen Suggs over and over and over again. And it looks like that's what the Magic are going to do. We're trying to stay even keeled, with the summer league. But what I'm about to say is going to sound outlandish. So I'm going to say the name Tracy McGrady. I'm not trying to compare Jalen Suggs to Tracy McGrady. That is by far and away my favorite basketball player of all time. But it's basically been since Tracy McGrady that we've had a guy on the perimeter that you say, hey, I just need you to go and get a bucket, and there's not a doubt in your mind. Magic fans are going to say, oh, what about Hito Turkoglu? Hito Turkoglu, it was, what are you doing? No, yes. And then you freak out when he made the play. But Tracy McGrady, you just had no doubts. Every single time he touched the ball, he's going to go and get a bucket. Jalen Suggs, part of my concern was I didn't see a ton of, over the rim, above the rim play. As I turn red here, I'm trying to fix my my autofocus on the camera.
I thought I was the only one
but yeah, just totally messed up my camera by raising my arms here, and now I'm trying to fix it. But anyways, that's how excited I get about Jalen Suggs, I guess. But no, we've seen the ability for him to play above the rim. Defensively, he just made play after play after play already. There was an instance with like 30 seconds to go in the first game against the Warriors. Cole Anthony turns the ball over. I think it was Kyle Guy and Moses Moody 2-on-1 going the other way. That's almost always a bucket. Jalen Suggs made the play on both of those guys. Guarded Kyle Guy, I think it was, turned around and got the block, retained the ball, and then had a chance to go the other way and score a bucket to win the game. But then, made the plays in overtime, that we needed for, us to win the game. But no, we're really excited about Jalen Suggs. He's a rookie. I don't want to get too crazy right now. But there's a feeling around the team right now with Jalen that he just has it, and that's not something that you can always point to as something that's tangible. But right now it's just a feeling. We feel really good right now about Jalen Suggs.